Hi, it's Florian, and I've been working as an engineer and an engineering manager for the last 20 years. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the 10 things that these 20 years taught me. And the first thing that they taught me is that you have more options than you think you have. Most people finish their studies and then just start working as an R&D engineer or as a product manager or something like that. And they focus only on the one thing. And then after a few years working as a product manager, for example, they think, now I can just work as a product manager because I put so much effort already into it. It's very hard to change career path. And that shrinks the amount of options that people think they have. But in reality, you can do whatever you want to. You can start your own business. You can switch career path. You can switch companies. You can move to another country. You can do all of these things. You can even move to a complete different field if you want to. And people don't allow themselves to do that. But most people, after doing that, are happier than they are before. So if you think that your options are limited, think twice and really consider what might be open to you. What did you see that other people did that worked out, and why don't you do that? So that's the first thing that I think is important to understand. And I also took some actions myself because of realizing exactly that. And the second thing is real value is not easy, it's hard. So if you want to achieve real value, if you want to get promoted, or if you want to learn something new, or if you want to do an MBA or do whatever, usually is not simple. You need to put work into it. You need to put effort into it. Even if you want to become a better speaker, or if you want to become a better manager, it is not simple. And it seems simple if you look at other people. So sometimes you look at your colleagues or a manager that you have or a friend that you have, and it seems that everything comes so easy to them. And that is not true. They all have to work and they all have to do something. Sometimes they are more talented, sometimes they are less talented. But if you really look behind the screen and behind what they are really doing, how they are working when they get up, what they studied, how they conduct their life, it usually becomes very clear that they do something different than you do. And just figure out what that is and follow the path if you want to follow it, and then you will achieve real value. But you will never achieve real value without putting the effort in it. That is just not how the world works. The third thing is fear numbs your life. So everyone is afraid. Sometimes you're afraid of heights or afraid of earthquakes or whatever, but fear of other people, fear of speaking publicly, fear of changing your job, fear of losing your job, all that numbs your life. It stops you from moving, it stops you from progressing, and it just holds you back. So if you are afraid of something, just face it. If you are afraid of losing your job, find a new job yourself. Just overcome that. Because you lose the fear of losing your job once you know I can find some. Or if you lose the fear of losing your job once you are financially stable enough that you don't care if you lose it. So overcome it, do something about it, and don't let you sit still and wait for the inevitable. That's usually the wrong path. And if you're afraid of something, usually if it happens, but what I realized, if people are afraid of being let go, for example, and then they are let go, it relieves them somehow. So if the thing that they're afraid of really happen, it's not as bad as they thought it would be, but the thought of that being happening, or the possibility of it happening, makes them even worse than the real thing is. So don't let your life and your progress being stuck by fear. The third thing is learn to listen. That is very important. Most people talk a lot but don't listen a lot. And learning to listen doesn't mean not speaking at all. It just means that you also need to learn when to speak. So you don't need to talk all of the time. You just need to talk at the right time, at the right moment, and say the right things, and let the others speak. So the others can have all the kinds of discussions, for example, in a meeting, and you just listen and listen and listen. And right before the end, you say what you want to say. And that is just one example of how that could work, but it would help you, for example, to understand what everyone's opinion is, where the conflicts are, what the politics are that might be played in the meeting. And then you can just, after listening to that all, make your point. And that is usually much better than making your point all of the time, because then it looks like you are just arguing like the others are. So there are a few techniques that you can learn, and you should, if you have problems to listen, or if you have problems figuring out the right moment when to speak. The next point is goals come and go, the pursuit persists. So everyone has goals. You want to finish your studies, you want to get promoted, you want to save the first 100K, you want to pay down your house, you want to whatever, you want to learn playing the piano. All of that are goals. But usually, once you reach the goal, it becomes, it's like you lost something. You know, once you reach the promotion, for example, then what? Then you need the next goal. So the only thing that's constant is the persist of a new goal. It's not the goal itself. And once you realize it, you realize having goals is quite nice to figure out some way where to go, but achieving them is actually not that good, because then you need to find a new goal. So the goals are not the thing that should keep you awake. It's the pursuit, and the pursuit should be something that you actually enjoy doing and that you don't hate, because achieving the goal is usually not as cool as you think it is. The next thing is change is the only constant. I think that's pretty clear. Everything in life changes. Your job changes, your colleagues change, your family changes, your opinions might change. The things that you want change. The things that you want when you're 10 years old are different than they are when you're 20 years old and 30 years old and 40 years old. They always change, and that's okay. Otherwise, it would be very boring. But that should also prevent you from thinking that the life that you envision for yourself now is the same that you would envision 10 years from now. That will be different, and it's okay. So be prepared to change, be prepared for change, and don't be afraid of change. The next thing is everything you own owns you back. And I needed to learn that. It's not as simple to understand, but if you have a job, for example, and you have a job title, you are director of something, vice president of something, or the product manager of something, then that's some part of your identity, and you need to keep that identity. So you need to do things for it. You need to get up every morning. You need to behave in a specific way. You need to put effort in a specific way. And the same is true for relationships. The same is true even for stuff that you own. If you own a car, you always have to take care of it. You need to insure it. If someone makes a dent into it, you need to repair it. So there's a lot of things that you have to do just because you own something. Which makes, of course, then raises the question, how much do I want to own? And most people don't ask that. Most people just think, if I have more, it's better. But if you understand that if you have more, you need to take care of more stuff, you will reduce the things and think about what you really want to own. And that includes your job. So it's not for everyone a good idea to strive for the best, the highest, the nicest sounding job title. Some people are better off, or most people are better off, by sticking to something that they actually like and not looking at the shiny stuff, because it will own you back. It will destroy your weekends, maybe your relationships to other people if you have to work more or travel more or whatever. So think about what you own, because it will always own you back. The next thing is people are not your friends, but that they are not your enemies either. And that's simple but a bit sad. So if you work somewhere, you shouldn't be surprised that people are not your friends. So you might like them and have coffee with them and even go out with them after work and enjoy being with them. But when push comes to shove and people are letting go, or you have or there's a conflict at work, don't expect them to stand up for you, because they are all afraid of being let go themselves. They're all afraid of repercussions that they could get, and that's just how they think. They just want to be left alone and do their work, basically, which also means they are usually not your enemy if you don't annoy them too much or don't pose a danger to them. But you shouldn't expect them to be your friends. Doesn't mean you need to be annoying or evil or something like that. You just should not expect that from work. Real friends are very hard to find and to keep, and they are usually not at work or in a professional environment. But they also don't hate you. And that's something that people misunderstand sometimes. I have that discussions quite often where they think someone would like to, do something bad to them, and you only have done this to hurt me, and that's also not true usually. People just don't care. I mean, it might be a collateral damage, or you might not understand it correctly, but don't get annoyed if someone does something that offends you somehow, because usually they also don't mean it. It's just how it is. Then the next thing is very important. Listen to your body. So take care of your health, basically. Work out, eat healthy, sleep enough. That's maybe important. And if you don't do that, your body will tell you. So the moment you don't eat healthy, you don't work out, and you don't sleep enough, you will feel it somehow, and you should not ignore it, because if you ignore it at some time point, it will hurt you quite a bit. And this is not something that you should wish for, because you only have one body and one life and one mental health and one family and so on. And if you screw it up, you really screw it up. So there's no job worth screwing up this part. And you should always listen, because your body is quite good at telling you things. If you feel tired all the time, there's a reason for it. If you don't have fun at anything, just work, go to bed, get up and work again. It's your body telling you something. So listen to it and change something, because not changing it is very expensive, and it might cost you everything in the end. Which brings me to the last point, which is everything ends, even life itself. So everything has an end. It plays a bit to the everything changes, but change means something ends. And if you have a great career, it will end. When you retire at the latest point, then it will end. If you have a job that you actually enjoy, there might be changes in the company, and this will end. If you have projects that you enjoy, they will end. If you have a colleague you enjoy working with, they might leave, or you might leave, or they might retire, or whatever. So everything ends, and the last thing that ends is life itself. And I saw that very often, that people work very hard and don't enjoy it really, and then die. So I saw that now a few times now. They either died shortly before retirement or shortly after retirement. And be aware that you are not immortal. So whatever you do, you should enjoy it. And if you don't, you should change it, because it won't last forever, and it will end. And in the end, you will regret it. Probably if you spent 10 or 20 years with something that you absolutely hated. And you should avoid that, because it's more common than you might think it is. There are more people, I think, regretting how they lived their lives when they know that their life ends. So when they have a untreatable cancer or something like that with 66, then they usually regret working so hard, working so much, not taking care better of themselves or of their hobbies or of their loved ones or something like that. So always be aware that things change and have an end. If you have more thoughts than this, because that ends the 10 points that I had, please put them in the comments, like and subscribe my channel, and have a wonderful day and a wonderful working life if you have one.